Hey, it's Lyndon Blades here, and today I'm going to look at a comparison between a really expensive saxophone and a cheap saxophone. By the way, this is my new backdrop, which I've created in my what was my office space, so I can make some more video tutorials and commentaries about saxophone related stuff. So please give me your feedback, because I really value it. If there's anything that you'd like to discuss or hear about, or you'd like me to help you with, then that's my mission in life, is to help as many people develop their skills on saxophones as possible. So I'd love to do that for you, but helping me by commenting on what it is that you'd like to find out more about would be so useful. Right, so let's get to it. I'm going to compare the most expensive saxophone that I personally own, which is this, a Selmer Mark VI alto saxophone. This is from the 1970s. It's not a 5-digit or anything. It's a fairly late model one. Still very valuable, more than £4,000. Personally, I wouldn't sell it for any money because I really love this sax. It's a beautiful sax, and I've had it for nearly 30 years now. And I'm going to compare that to this saxophone, which is a Chinese made saxophone that sells for about £550. This is a Goldington brand saxophone, and so not the cheapest sax that you can get ever, but still £550, well over £4,000. And actually, for this Selmer Mark VI, if you found one in a really fantastic condition, with a good case, with the original case and mouthpiece, you would be looking at, you could easily pay double that for it. So people are selling them for absolutely crazy money because they don't make them anymore. This saxophone comes with a really good case, a very basic mouthpiece. It's got a lovely finish on it. The design is really, really nice, and the Chinese have copied, the manufacturers have copied the way that Selmers are laid out, so it feels spookily like a Selmer saxophone. Anyway, here is a few notes on the Selmer Mark VI. By the way, I'm using the same mouthpiece on both instruments. The mouthpiece that I'm using is a Mayer 5 medium chamber, which is an ebonite mouthpiece, and I'm using Rigotti 2.5 reed, 2.5 strength reeds. Here's a bit of Summertime. Just messing about, doing a bit of Summertime or something summertime-ish. Put that carefully in my stand. And this is the Goldington saxophone. This is an antique finish one. This is brand new. So I can't really hear a massively significant difference. So the biggest difference between these two instruments is definitely the price. One's thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds, and the other is 550 quid. So that is definitely the biggest significant difference, which is nearly 10 times difference. However, the sound, from my ears anyway, there's not 10 times difference in sound between these two instruments. They sound pretty much exactly the same. They really, really, really do. They both sound fantastic. They both sound really, really good. So what is the difference then? This saxophone, this Selmer Mark VI, not only does it have the benefit of having the Selmer mark on it, so it's a Selmer, which is kudos in itself, Whereas this is a Goldington brand that you've probably never heard of. This is handmade by technicians that have been working, literally a family business since saxophones were first manufactured, completely handmade by the top experts in the world. This is machine made, largely machine made, and then hand put together by people who definitely don't have as much expertise as the people at the Selmer factory. I suspect, although I don't know for sure because I haven't done any chemical testing, but I suspect that the copper content in this saxophone is higher than it is in this saxophone, and that might make it resonate in a more desirable way that gives a nicer tone. However, I can't verify that because I haven't done any checks and I don't know what the copper content is on either of them, to be honest, but that's what I suspect. I definitely know that when you take the neck off, if you have a look at the crook, the metal is definitely thinner on this instrument than it is on this instrument. So you have to be a little bit more careful about the way that you handle this. This feels a little bit more robust. Weight-wise, I think this is a little bit heavier, but not by very much at all. So those are the differences. And they're both fantastic hooters. So I think the moral of the story is you don't necessarily have to get a super expensive saxophone in order to sound great or to have a very, very good sax. Both of these saxophones I've described as very, very good. I would always say to people that buy the best saxophone that you can possibly afford. If you can afford to get a new or second-hand Selmer saxophone or Yanagisawa, I would definitely go for that. Absolutely, 100%, no questions whatsoever. However, if you don't want to spend that kind of money, you just want to find out whether you enjoy playing the saxophone, then this £550 saxophone is a really, really good option. And I think saxophones around that price range are going to be similar in quality. What's different about these Goldington saxophones, I wasn't really setting out to make an advert for Goldington saxophones, what's really nice about this is that it's laid out just like a Selmer, so it really does feel very Selmer-like. It comes in a very good quality, case. It comes with a fairly basic mouthpiece, so that would be the first thing that I would do if I had a cheap sax, is I would upgrade the mouthpiece. And actually this saxophone, as I've said a few times now, is £550. A Mayer 5 medium chamber, I think you're looking at nearly £200, or you can pay more than £200 for the mouthpiece alone. So the mouthpiece that you get with the sax is fairly basic. You get really quite a good case, which I'm endeavouring to show you. It's quite a nice case. That's really, really, really cool, and really quite robust. So those are the differences between a really expensive sax and a cheaper sax. You don't necessarily need to spend thousands and thousands of pounds to get a great sound. Once again, I do hope this video was useful to you, so please like and subscribe, as they say in the YouTube world, and let me know what you'd like to discuss and things that you'd like to find out about. Could be improvisation or applying major scales, finding out why they're important, the modes of the major scales. Is that something that you struggle with, or that I can explain to you in very simple terms? 2-5-1s. There's just so much stuff to discuss about the sax. I'd love to hear what it is that you'd like to know. My name's Lyndon. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.